Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady and our first story about how Karen's greed has consequences. Dumb broad took my chocolate milk. I was out at a local grocery store just doing a basic food run. While walking past the milk coolers, I grabbed the last 2 pint bottles of chocolate milk. As I let the door to the cooler close and put the bottles into my cart, I noticed a rather hefty woman standing a tad too close to me. As I start walking away, I hear her say, "Where are you taking those?" Unaware she was talking to me, I kept walking. Next thing I know, my upper arm is being grabbed and pulled. Now, for reference, I'm about 6'2", and I'm built like a brick crap house, and generally a fairly bristly person, so I'm sure my demeanor didn't help the situation. At first, I just sort of stared at her, kind of surprised that she had the gall to act this way with a stranger that looks like I do. HW. I said, "Where are you taking those?" Me. What? HW. What are you doing with those chocolate milks? Me. Buying them? HW. Oh, well, first off, lose the attitude. And second, I'm sure you're supposed to let customers have them, not take them for yourself. Now, at this point, I will point out that it took me some time to realize that she thought I worked there, because the uniform for this store is red shirts and khaki pants. I was wearing tan pants, a red, white, and blue flannel, and a brown jacket. Me. What are you talking about? HW. Those were the last 2 milks. Give them to me. Me. F off. I then walk a few aisles down to look at soup, and I step a few feet away with my cart so as to not block other people trying to come through the aisle. I see movement in my periphery. I figure it's her and decide it's best just to laser focus on the soup and ignore her. After waiting for a bit and sensing her leave, I go back to my cart and notice that my milks are gone. I'm now in a sort of mood where the next person that talks to me could be Tom Hanks, and I'd probably be rude. I continue my shopping when the woman comes walking over with an employee, I'm assuming a manager. She shoves one of her sausage fingers in my face and shouts about how this is the employee that took my groceries and told me to F off. I want him fired now. Now I realize what was going on, and I just about lost it. Me. I don't effing work here, you moron. Manager. Whoa, hey now. HW. See what I mean? Fire him. Manager. Ma'am, he doesn't work here. HW. Then why did he say he did? Me. I didn't. HW. You better watch your tone. My husband is... At this point, the woman was cut off, though I'm genuinely curious about what her husband was. An eggplant farmer? As big a C-word as her? The world may never know. Anyway, another store employee cut her off, and this one was wearing a black shirt and khaki pants. Although the shirt had the store logo on it, I believe he was their asset protection employee. AP. Ma'am, may I look in your bag? HW. What? No. Why? Manager. What's up, Greg? It's not his real name. AP. Was watching the manager, saw her take something out of this guy's cart and put it in her bag. At this point, I started laughing. HW. To me. Screw you! To the employees. I was going to pay. I just didn't want him to try to take them back. I started to walk up to the front so I could pay and leave, and as I get there, I notice a couple of local police officers walking in, and an employee point them over to the guy in the black shirt, who's now walking the woman up front as well. As they walk past me towards a back office, I hear one of them explaining to the woman who's now in hysterics that, yes ma'am, just hiding them in your purse constitutes retail fraud. I then left, wanting nothing more to do with this lady. Moral of the story? Play stupid B-word games, win stupid B-word prizes. And our second story. Woman accuses me of being a bad worker to try and get free food. About a quarter of a mile away from my high school, there's a McDonald's that many students apply to work at. A few of my friends work there currently, but I do not. Many of them are seniors and don't have a full school day and work there in the morning. At the end of their shift, most of them change in the bathroom and head home or to school. Many students have spirit wear, clothes with the school's name on it, as many people wear that daily. This is where I assume the confusion happened. Cast. Me. You better know. LK. Little kid. Doesn't actually talk at all. NM is the nice manager. EM is I walk into McDonald's and I see my friend at the counter taking orders. I just wave at him and he waves back. I continue walking up to the ordering screens and I see a little kid struggling to reach a menu item on the screen. Me. Hey bud, you need some help? Little kid nodded and pointed to the fries, and I helped him with the rest of his order. Apparently his mom was a doctor of some sort and she was on call talking to a patient. LK walked up to the counter, paid for his order, used money I suppose his mom gave him. He was like a little man. I walk back to an empty screen. I'm not even 5 seconds into putting in my order when someone taps on my shoulder. EM. Mm-hmm. I turn around. Me. Can I help you, ma'am? EM. I've been waiting for my order forever, and me and my dear son are very hungry customers. Me. And why are you telling me this? EM. You work here and you should be helping me. Me. Miss, I think you're confused. I don't. EM. Don't you lie to me. I saw you help that kid. I saw you wave to the cashier, too. Me. Shaken. I helped that kid out of the kindness of my heart. The cashier is just EM. Your friend? Sure. And you just happen to wear the same clothes? Yes, she was yelling at me the whole time. Others had been watching, too. I also realized she was talking about my school sweatshirt. My friend was wearing a similar one with a design from 2 years ago. She must have seen him change out of it for work. Me. Miss, this is the spirit wear for the high school nearby. He's a senior. I'm a junior. Please let me order my dinner. EM. You, derogatory Asian term, are taking my kids' jobs and you can't even do them right. Who the hell is your manager? I want to talk to him. By this point, my friend had done the smart thing and gotten his manager. They both walked around the registers and to this woman and I. NM. Ma'am, what seems to be the problem? EM. Your lazy butt worker isn't helping my family get my food. He should be fired. My son is starving. She gestured over to a table where a boy is intently staring at a smartphone with a shiny pink case. He doesn't look like he cares at all. NM. I'm sorry, but this man does not work here. EM. Still looking like she's going to blow a gasket. EM. Well, whatever. I still don't have my food and I want to be compensated. NM. Can I see your receipt then? EM. Ugh. Fine. EM handed over the receipt. NM took a 3-second look at it before handing it back to EM. NM. You're going to have to leave now. EM. Surprised Pikachu face. What? Why? NM. This receipt is from 2 weeks ago. You're causing a disturbance. Please leave. EM's face goes red. EM yelling multiple derogatory terms. You're all racist. I'm leaving a review so bad you'll never get business again. She then grabbed her kid as she stormed out. All three of us are standing there dumbfounded. The NM offered me a free meal, but I declined. I order my meal normally and enjoy my dinner. The church doesn't hire elves. This happened last year, but as my friend got asked about it yesterday, I figured I would share. My one friend is very religious and is a part of all things church, as far as I know. So when they have plays or concerts, I think they just call them performances, she's always a part of them, which means as her ever-loyal friend, she asks/requires me to attend at least one performance of each one she does that year. Last Christmas season, I ended up going to like 15 of the 30 performances. They did 2 a night. Well, the time in question was when I'd ended up attending the performance after several hours of me playing an elf in an event that another friend had asked me to help her with. So here I was, dressed like an elf, going to support my friend's church performance. I was tired. In the line in front of me was this couple and their 3 kids, and the kids were going pretty much insane. They were yelling and screaming and running around. One even tried to climb on a nearby chair. The parents would switch which one would chase the running kids around as they were trying very hard to get their children under control. I groaned, forgetting I was still dressed as an elf. I loudly said, Santa is not going to be happy when he hears how you guys are misbehaving. The kids stopped and stared at me. I was even taken aback by how sudden their response was. I seriously didn't think they would have even heard me. The kids all came back to their parents, or rather they all ran up to me. Wow, an elf! You know Santa? I'm good, I promise. That's what the kids were shouting, plus a few other things. So 3 kids at once. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to remember everything they said since they like to talk over each other. Took me a few moments to realize that I was still dressed as an elf. The parents looked at me like I was their savior. I sighed. Well, happy kids are quieter than wild bored kids. So I smiled at the kids. Yeah, I'm Jingle. And yeah, I know Santa for sure. Are you really an elf? You have normal ears, said one of the kids. I laughed. Oh, yeah, I was born with rounded ears. All elves with round ears get a special job. I shouldn't tell you this, but there are elves all around all year round. We're undercover elves. And we use how we look like normal people to spy on kids and report back to Santa. Since, you know, he's super busy this time of year, meeting everyone and making sure all the presents are done, we keep an eye on things for him, hoping these kids would buy the story. Oh, wow, the kids chimed. They bought it. And during the next 20 minutes or so, they asked me questions about Santa and stuff. I spent all the time pretty much telling them about all the different things I've seen in movies about Santa. They were a lot calmer. So we got our tickets and watched the performance, and after the show, I sat in the lobby to wait for the next show. And the original group of kids ended up coming up to me with more kids. So between the performances, I entertained the kids with stories about Santa. They were calm, so I was cool just telling stories to the kids. Again, I got tickets, watched the show. After the performance, I met up with my friend, and we were just chatting when this elderly woman came up and touched my arm. "You did a good job, too. I'm pleased to see the church hired an entertainer to keep the kids from wreaking havoc before and after shows," said the elderly woman. The pastor was nearby at one of the tables. "Excuse me, what did you say?" said the pastor as he now put down his paper and came over. "That I'm happy that you hired an elf to amuse the children and keep them calm," said the elderly woman. "I didn't," started the pastor. "Expected a volunteer would be dressed as an elf." "Sorry, I don't work here. I just volunteer sometimes," I said to the woman, who smiled. She donated some money and left. "You don't?" stated the pastor. "We know you don't like elves, and we know she doesn't work here. I'll see you tomorrow. Laters," I said to my friend and started to drag me off. The pastor and I do not get along, and my friend called me today asking me to show up again as an elf this year since the pastor's already getting upset that people are calling him to make reservations to have the elf watch their kids between performances. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed today's stories, and I'll see you soon.